the Tenet Glaxion is a game changer. And if you haven't tried this weapon, make sure to watch the video till the end. I guarantee you that you're gonna like this one. Because in today's video, I'll make sure to cover the most important points that you need to know about the Tenet Glaxion. And I will also be sharing the build that I use for this weapon with you. So let's get started. So first thing, let's take a quick look at the weapon and see how it works. This weapon is a beam rifle weapon, which means it shoots beams. And of course, the beam is cryo energy. A nice perk of this weapon is that it slows down enemies and even freezes them in place. For example, look at this enemy here. See, frozen. Can't move. If you enjoy the content that I provide, please make sure to subscribe. That would help me greatly. Back to the video. And if you want to compare the Tenet Glaxion to the other Glaxion variants, this one is more superior. And one of the key differences in this one is that whenever you shoot an enemy, the beam changes to 3 more enemies that are close by. Like this. Like this as well. And of course, the very obvious, the damage type for this weapon is cold. And since it's a Tenet weapon, that means it's acquired via defeating a Sister of Parvos, which means you also get a bonus damage type. And in my case, the damage type that I went for is magnetic. But to fill you on how you can get any Tenet weapon, in case you don't know how to do that, you have to find a Sister of Parvos and kill her. And because this video is not going to be a tutorial about Sisters of Parvos, I'm just going to give some highlights regarding how you can get it. The first thing that you have to keep in mind is that you have 2 quests that have to be done, which are the War Within and the Call of the Tempestary. Once you do that, you want to go to a node on Pluto called Haida. In there, you're gonna find the Granum Void, which is the golden hand statue that you can find around randomly. And keep in mind, before you go into the Granum Void, make sure that you have the Zoris equipped. And don't worry, the Zoris is a free weapon that you can get by just questing through the game. And trust me, this weapon is going to make Granum Void very easy for you. So make sure that you never waste this weapon. Don't throw it away, don't sell it. Now, after you have the Zoris equipped, make sure that you choose the right coin whenever you enter Granum Void. In this case, you would need the Zenith Granum Crown. And it has to be this specific one, because if you choose one of the other 2, it's not going to work. Once you are in Granum Void, you have to kill at least 25 enemies in the minigame. So after killing 25 enemies or more, and you complete the Granum Void, the candidate will respawn and you'll be able to see the weapon that it has. And when you go to check the candidate, it's going to have a random weapon. So let's say you're doing the Sister of Parvos thing to get the Tenet Glaxion, and the candidate does not spawn with the Tenet Glaxion. What you want to do in this case, you just extract normally and repeat the whole thing. But in the case that you find the weapon that you're looking for, just down the enemy, interact with it and just extract. After that, you'll see the whole cutscene thing for Sister of Parvos, and you can proceed with a normal process like you do with a Lich, for example. I'll also attach a link to one of the videos that I've made that kind of explains the process of defeating Liches and finding them and all that stuff. You'll find the link in the description. So, let's say that you now finally have the weapon. You're going to find the damage type bonus up here. In my case, it's magnetic. And make sure whenever you get the weapon, make sure that you install a potato, which is this one here. And if you're not familiar with a potato, it's an Orokin catalyst. And what it does is that it doubles the amount of capacity you have for mods, which is this right here. After that, you can just level the weapon. Some of you also could have seen that this weapon is at level 40, which is normal in this case, because all the Tenet weapons go up to level 40. But it's a bit tricky. I have 5 forma here for a reason, because in this case, once you get the weapon to level 30, it's not capped. So what you have to do, you have to install a forma. And from there, you can level the weapon again. But it's going to cap at level 32. And you keep doing this 5 times until you reach 40. You don't have to do all the forma, you don't have to get it to level 40. It depends on the modding and build that you have. And in my case, I did the 5 forma and got it to level 40 just for the MR. And now I'll be showing you the build that I use for myself on this weapon, which is this here. I will kinda explain what all of this is, but you can see the stats from base to this build on the left side. So quick note, this build is a general build, that's why I don't have any faction mods. And I've always used it like this, I don't have any faction mods on it. So, let's slowly kinda go into the details of this one. I use Galvanized Chamber, because basically this one is better than other alternatives. And if you don't have this one, you can use Split Chamber instead. I also use Galvanized Aptitude, which is for me is better than also other alternatives, but if you don't have it, you can use Serration, or you can use Amalgam Serration. And in my opinion, Amalgam Serration is more superior than Serration, just because of the sprint speed. I'm also using Critical Delay for the critical chance. And here I have 3 damage types. I have High Voltage, which gives Electricity and Status Chance. And I have Malignant Force, which gives Toxin and Status Chance. Both of them together, they give Corrosive, which is another damage type. And the third one of those is Radiated Reload. This one is pretty sweet, because it gives you radiation right away. You don't have to mix 2 mods in order to get a damage type. And it also gives 40% reload speed. To be honest, you can change this mod to any other mod that you would like. And if you would like to replace this one with anything else, I would suggest that you go for Vital Sense. Hunter Mutations. And why I use Hunter Mutations? Because I like to have some slash damage on my weapon, because that's gonna make it even better. And here I have Prime Tread, for a couple of reasons. The first one, because critical delay gives a minus 20% fire rate. So this kinda makes up for it and also gives me 35% extra fire rate. And another thing is that it gives me punch through, which is great because that means I can technically go through walls at this point. The last mod that I have is Sinister Reach, which gives beam range, which is great. 12 extra meters is pretty nice. That means you can hit enemies further. When it comes for arcanes, I'm using Primary Frostbite, but you don't have to use the exact arcane, you can use something different. In my opinion, the best two arcanes that you can choose from are going to be the Primary Frostbite, the one that I'm using here, and Primary Merciless. This one is also pretty good. You can choose whatever you like. I choose Primary Frostbite, you can choose Primary Merciless. There might be a bit of a difference, but it's fine. So here I'm going to show you what the build does, without any buffs, without anything, without any companions at all. So, let's start. And once you get the first skill, it's going to be easy from there. And you can see that already, like, the enemy after it has some damage dealt to it. And by the way, keep in mind, even if these enemies are pretty strong for you, this weapon is going to slow them down. So, in a real environment, whenever they're moving, it's not going to be a big deal, because you're slowing them down anyway. Now that we have seen the weapon without any buffs, we're going to see how it functions with some assistance here. For my companion, I have the Panzervolk Pfeile, and on Wukong here, I have Roar, which gives me around 53% extra damage. Activate Roar, start shooting enemies. You can already see that it's way better. I'm not even like doing that much work. It would still work if I shoot them in the body instead of the head. It doesn't really matter. So as you can see, this weapon is pretty sweet. Also, if you have any different builds or you have any optimization or tweaks that you would like to do to the build that I have, make sure to share them in the comments. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope it was useful. Subscribe.